Hello, hello, YouTube, and welcome on in to another little regular Minecraft Let's Play. Nothing really special planned for today other than continuing the survivor world that we started last time. The seed is in the description if you want to play on it as well. Just keep in mind that it is on the Java version. But yes, let's just go ahead and dive right in and resume where we left off. So, I have, how do I say this? I have a very interesting story to share about picking up my new glasses today. Because, for those who don't know, my original glasses unfortunately snapped up. Yep, there's another shark. Thank you. Thank you. For those who don't know, my original glasses, they snapped along the bridge. And I used to have the very frameless bridge, or frameless type of glasses. So what that meant was there just was not enough material to otherwise make sure... Hold on, do I have a cherry sapling? Let me bring one with me. I did not have enough material to glue or tape the glasses back together. So what ended up happening is you're not wrong, Dracus. This is the first time a frameless has broke on me. But I also had that pair for close to 10 years. So I think I got a lot of good mileage out of it. But what ended up happening is my glasses broke. And then I put in 2 emergency rush orders online for just, cheap replacement glasses to tide me over until I could get a new prescription and a new pair of glasses. And for about a week and a half, I was still blind. But when my glasses came in, the sheer joy I felt being able to see again is very hard to describe. Because, and this really only applies to anyone else who's maybe been in the same similar situation, if you haven't been able to see for a week and a half after being able to see, it definitely messes with your quality of life, and it definitely messes with your perception of the world around you. So I will not lie, I teared up when I was finally able to see again on my old prescription using the cheap replacement glasses. And before then, I was basically relying on screen magnifiers. I was using my phone as a magnifier. It just was not a very pretty sight. And yeah, well, the thing is, Dracus, is I couldn't even really read Foundry. It was that bad. I did do one stream when the whole, not safe for work stuff happened, but I still was barely able to read chat. It was that bad. So I had a cheap replacement glass, and I gotta say, hashtag not sponsored. Zenny, I think, is the name of the company that got me these glasses first. Zenny's quality is, and again, hashtag not sponsored. Zenny got me the glasses very quickly, and they also are just good quality. They don't feel like a cheap pair of glasses. They feel like they've got quality to them. Which, I feel like if these current glasses that I have now break, I have a backup prescription and these Zenny glasses I can use. But more to the point, so I got the text yesterday that we were able to go and pick up the new glasses, so naturally I did. And as I was driving over there, I noticed that there was, the opposite side of traffic was backed up. And I was wondering, wow, this is backed up for 5 or 6 lights. What the heck is going on? So I kept driving, and I just kept seeing more and more backup. And it's getting to the point where I'm like, wow, people going that way must be really, really upset that they're taking all this time away from them at this point. You know what? I should make a shovel. Hold on. Let me quickly make a shovel. So I'm like, okay, what the heck's going on that is taking so much time and is holding up traffic so much? Well, I make a turn, and sure enough, I finally see that a water main has burst or a fire hydrant has burst. It wasn't really clear, but there was water pouring out onto the street in such a way that it was literally flooding the street. And I was looking at it and I'm like, well, that's a bummer. But the kicker was that apparently the fire department had come out, a few utility trucks had come out, and they were all frantically trying to shut off the water, trying to find, where the cutoff valve was. And I just felt so bad for those workers because there was no way that they were not soaked to the bone with how much water was coming out. So I was like, all right, I'm going to have to take an alternate route home, but yeah, sucks to be those people, unfortunately. So I went and I got my glasses. Took about 5 minutes, all things considered, which was very nice. And then on my way home, I took a different route. And this time, I ended up stopping to save a turtle in the road. And I don't mean like, a tiny little garden turtle. I mean like one of those honkin' big, almost like snapping turtle-like turtles. Thankfully, it wasn't a snapping turtle. I would not have picked it up if it were a snapping turtle. But it was my little adventure for the day to just, see a bit of random things breaking and otherwise, saving a bit of wildlife. Because that's something I think a lot of people don't do these days. Is if they see an animal in the road or they see something that, something's going to suffer. The Drufus, hello. They see something that would inconvenience them. They just get mad about the inconvenience. Like, they don't actually put empathy or thought into, say, hey, that turtle's in the middle of the road. I should go save that turtle, kind of a thing. And I just don't know. Yeah, good luck on the interview, Dracus. I just don't know if that's endemic of how our society has evolved or if that's just me being a little bit weird, but to me, I think it's more important to just take the 5 extra minutes to save the turtle than have that on your conscience and be like, I wonder what happened to that turtle I could have saved. Probably ended up as roadkill, kind of a thing. And it's one of those things where I kind of wish more people would just take the time to stop and smell the roses, as the expression goes. But I also understand that in today's world, you got to get what you're going quickly. You have to, otherwise push yourself to get where you're going as quickly as possible. So, ultimately, again, what I'm saying is I just wish more people took a moment and just appreciated the world around them, because one of the things that really helped ground me after the whole not safe for work debacle, which again, we're not really going to chat about today because we've chatted about it enough, really. But you can find videos on my channel to that effect. One of the things that really helped ground me was I went on a very long walk with my dog. And, I guess the expression I literally touched grass kind of applies, but really what it came down to, where did I put that crafting table? There it is. What it really came down to was the fact that let's just make a bunch of slabs here. I was able to sort of recenter myself and determine, well, what really matters, moving forward? Can I still pay people? Can I still do some work? Am I being completely back on the back foot now? Is there anything I can do? And just that moment in nature and that moment in, taking a literal step back and thinking, okay, where do we go from here? What are the steps I can take to make this a better situation? I mean, that made all the world of difference in the end. So I guess what I'm saying is, take the time, go outside, enjoy your pets, enjoy the outside, take the time to smell the roses, etc., etc. All right, so I think what I'm going to do here, my plans is I want to, we'll go to about there. What I want to do is we'll make this cherry staircase. And what we're going to do is this is going to be kind of our second floor here. And we'll have sort of smaller rooms off to the side where I'll store like trophies and beacons and things like that. And then that's probably going to be all like cherry wood. Though I probably am going to mix in a dark oak if I can find dark oak somewhere. So if anybody spots an alpine region or spots an oak log, like a dark oak log, or I think it's spruce is what it's called, please yell at me because I would very much like to add in some very dark wood to this build. In fact, why don't we do that now? Let me build a chest and we will go hunting for that. So we'll put a chest here. Dirt block here. Oh, right, it can't open if there's a dirt block, of course. Forgot about that. Alright, we'll put you here. And we'll just store all this extra nonsense. We'll keep a stack of dirt just because we can. We'll keep the shears in case we need to take anything. And then we'll put the birch away. Coal away. Alright. And the sun's coming down, so let's sleep, and then we'll go explore in that direction, see what's out there. But the other thing is, for those who don't know, my dog is in agility training, my Alaskan Malamute, and she has made good strides in agility. What I mean by that is she knows the course. She's able to do it without a food lure. But there's still some handling issues with her, where getting her to focus and getting her to initially concentrate is, something we struggle with her. But what we're focusing on, aside from the whole, hey, pay attention to me and not zoomies kind of a situation, is we are working on handling skills. And the handling skills are all me kind of a thing, where it's not training my dog, it's training me to handle the dog, if that makes sense. So what ended up happening is we were teaching backsides this last Tuesday. And, ooh, horses. Nice. Lots of horses. Very nice. So we were teaching backsides. And basically what that means is we have to send the dog. We have to send the dog around an obstacle. And then we have the dog circle behind us. And then we lead them with our new hand, because we switch hands during the process. And we ooh, I think is that ice? Ooh, there we go. There's a tree we want. Ooh, maybe let's not fall into this ravine. Let's maybe not do that. That is a very badly placed ravine. Let's prevent this from happening in the future. So she was doing backsides very well. She picked it up very quickly. But the reason I tell this story is because it's not just my dog in agility courses. It is a shared gym. So there's only one dog in the gym area at a time. But there's 3 or 4 individuals, aside from yourself, that are still training their dogs. So, we take about 2 or 3 minutes in the gym, and then we come out and we just sort of cycle through. Also, real quick, let me read Dust Carter real quick. Yeah, it is kind of harder to get out and actually relax and quote-unquote touch grass. So it maybe it's a luxury that some people can't afford, but I think the ability to ultimately go out and just take a moment to breathe, it really helps with your mental ability if you can afford it for even like 30 seconds. Like, it can make a world of difference. But I completely understand where you're coming from. Anyways, so the other dogs that were with us this last Tuesday were this tiny little Chihuahua and a... God, what was it? I don't remember. I think it was a Yorkie? No, it wasn't a Yorkie. It was a... It's one of those herding dogs. Was it Aussie Shepherds? Is that what they were? Sounds right. But the other dog was a first-time Yes, we got Spruce. Was a first-time agility course person, and they had a golden retriever. Now, anybody who's had a golden retriever knows probably where this story is going. But this was the most golden retriever I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, this dog, anytime there was a bowl of water, was digging and swimming in it. Anytime that there was an opportunity to run up an obstacle and then decide, hey, I don't want to come down the other side of the obstacle, there was that. And then, it was, oh, wait, we have snow. We can make snowmen. But anytime there was, oh, thank you for the triplet, Crosby. I did remember that is a thing in snow now. But this golden was like all over the place, but also somehow better at a lot of things than what my dog Zara was. And for her first time, she did phenomenal. Like, she was a phenomenal dog, all things considered. And it just, yeah, golden retrievers are like orange cats. They all share one brain cell and they have to trade it off every once in a while. I believe it. But that dog was very happy, very energetic. And yeah, it was just a treat to see, a dog like that have fun and agility. And, it's one of those things where you try not to laugh, in a good way. Not like, haha, you suck, but haha, your dog is silly. It's very tempting to laugh at other dogs and, just sort of enjoy the scenery once again. But everybody was laughing. The trainers were laughing. The owner was laughing. It was just a good time overall. And considering that's like my one social thing, by the way, I'm trying to get a spruce sapling. That's what I'm trying to do here. Considering that, that's my one social activity for the week, besides streaming, of course. Come on, no saplings? Really? Really? No? Oh, here we go. Here's a sapling. All right. So we'll plant this tree back where it was. And then, why is there fire over there? Why is there fire over there? Oh, because lava. Ooh. All right, well, let's go investigate. Though I realized I have no idea where I came from. Okay, so first things first, I need to find my way back and I need to make a beacon. Hold on. Because otherwise I'm going to be perpetually lost. But yeah, it's one of those things where animals are like the great equalizer in mood. And they are an essential, like, mental health kind of thing. Literal fur therapy kind of a thing. And what I would say is, okay, that sheep isn't shorn, which means we didn't come this way. Or maybe a group back. I guess we'll go this way and we'll find out. But, it's something where even if you don't have a pet of your own, just being able to spend like a few minutes, petting a dog, petting a cat, depending on your preference, it can make a world of difference. Not just with your mood, but with your blood pressure and everything like that. So I would definitely encourage it if you can find the time and the space and the ability to pet an animal every once in a while, because your health is important. And as somebody who struggles with health sometimes, I cannot overstate how important that is sometimes. All right, so trying to figure out where to build the beacon. I guess like right here would work. Just build it, because what we're gonna do is we're literally just gonna build a, yeah, because that's where we are. All right. We're literally just going to build a tower here. And we're probably going to die from fall damage, but that's okay. We have keep inventory on. But yeah, it's the little things in life that sort of just add up and overall make for a better environment and better overall mental and physical health. So I guess what I'm saying is, enjoy life. Get out there. Enjoy it. You know, kind of a thing. Alright, now I don't know if we'll be able to hit the water. In fact, I'm pretty sure we're not going to be able to hit the water here. So I think we're just going to die to fall damage. And we're dead from fall damage. Alright. That's okay, because now we have a beacon to find our way home. Alright. Oh, you know what I should do is let me come over here. And I need to grab more dirt because I want to make this a better staircase up. Because right now there's not really so much of a staircase. So let me see. Or at least it needs to be more... Maybe I should put down actual stairs, maybe. Your cat would rather be on the catio than with you, even when it's 100 degrees outdoor. Well, I mean, you know, they're a cat. You know, they decide that, ooh, there's warmth out there. I'm going to go enjoy the warmth, as it were. Also, everybody say hello to the U.S. Navy. They are flying over to my house. Hello. Hello, Mr. Jet. Hello. Yeah, I could make a map, but then I would have to get paper. And I haven't seen any anything to make paper with yet. Unless they change the recipe on me, I don't think I have everything I need to make paper. Alright, so we're going to put the snow away in here. We're going to put that there. I'm going to take this spruce sapling and slap it down here so it grows. And then, let me see. I'm going to need a lot of glass, too. Let me think. So I'm going to need a bunch of sand. I mean, I see some sand there. And yeah, we're gonna have to go hunting for some sand in some coastal areas. Also some string. We're gonna have to find some spiders. Also, hello, Mr. Bat. Because there was also a yeah, there's glowing squids down there, which I know give glowing. Oh no, those are drowned. Oh no, oh no. Well, that's a thing. I wonder if that means there's ruins down there or something else entirely. Alright, let's do this. Okay. Because, yeah, that, yeah, it's still 3 sugarcane for paper. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So we're going to have to go hunting for sugarcane. And one of the things I love about this shader pack is that... Oh, hold on. Okay, that one was really low. Hopefully that didn't leak in too much, but that one was very low over the house. Alright, well, we got to deal with drown now, which is annoying, but we'll make do. But let me think. Where's going to be the best place to find sugarcane is going to be the question here. Oh, let me put this wood away. I'll throw it on the island. Because I know we can hit squid for black ink sacs, which we can make black wool with. But we are definitely looking for sand and sugarcane at the moment. Also, maybe some mushrooms would be good as well. Also, welcome back, Dracus. Ooh, company was an MLM. Oof. 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 Just big oof all around. Yeah, Dust Carter, my cat does that as well. You know, if I were to, you know, use the fishing pole, as it were, on her, she just either bites the line or she tears it off. And, you know, I wonder how deep this goes. I do wonder. Oop, phone call. Give me one moment. I will be right back. All right, sorry about that. I'm gonna have to cut that from the YouTube video, but welcome on back, everybody. That was the dog groomer that I need to take Zara to. And for those who don't know or have never really experienced this sort of thing, it's a mobile groomer, which means that hold on, we got another jet. We you know, the groomer comes to you in a van, and everything they do is otherwise, you know, done in the van, including like the blowout and the nail trimming, etc., etc. Ooh, pigs. Lots of pigs. Ooh. We might have to get some bacon. But oh, Dracus, I'll post a picture in Discord of both my cat and my dog. Just remind me after the stream if I forget. But no, the reason I have to get Zara mobile groomed is because she does not tolerate how to say this. She does not really tolerate other dogs being around her when she's getting a bath. And she also is very anxious and fidgety dog in general. So I already was having to trazodone. Still no sugarcane. I was already having to trazodone Zara before she went to grooming. But I was also having to pay like, you know, an extra $50 kind of a thing because she was so fidgety. And it just was not feasible for me to keep taking her to the groomer she started at because it was just getting prohibitively expensive. Same, I don't like other people around when you get a bath. I mean, when you put it that way, you know, you make a valid point. But it just, we're going to be trying out this mobile grooming, and we're going to be able to see whether or not she'll tolerate a little bit better. Hopefully, again, she'll tolerate it, but they'll be able to come out to me literally this Sunday, which is exciting. So, depending on how long the grooming takes, I might actually have to postpone or cancel Vampire this weekend. But the upside is I will have a completely pampered for dog, which is always great. Ooh, bunch of sand. Love it. This is great. Actually, hold on. Before I start digging, is this a cave? What's going on in here? Okay, so I have a feeling I'm going to start digging in the sand. This is all going to fall apart on me. So, better warn your neighbors that you're not trying to kill a dog. They're just getting a bath. Okay, so it's the funny thing where... And I'm lost again. Great. You know, she loves playing in the water. Like, if I set up a sprinkler in the backyard, Zara will quite literally just, you know, run for hours if you let her. Like, she'll run herself ragged in the backyard. Great way to get her energy out, if I'm being honest. But she's also very vocal because Malamute. And they're very vocal dogs. And let's just say that, you know, she's, as I said, she's very anxious. So if she's not nearby, or she can't see me, or she can't see the house, she gets very fidgety, very bouncy, very, ooh, sugarcane, nice. Very much a, ooh, I don't want to be here anymore kind of a situation. So it is something where we need the mobile grooming because that's might be all she'll tolerate. Because, yeah, the other groomers were... Do I say price points? Sure. So I'm basically going to have to pay about $150 for them to come out to me. And I was already paying that and a little bit more at the other groomers just for them to get her in. So we're going to try it out. Because this place came recommended through the dog trainers that I go to. And they seem like pleasant people on the phone. She was very attentive to my questioning. Maybe I'll do a hashtag sponsored for them in the future. Who knows? But, yeah, it just... I think it'll be a good time. And I think I'll finally have Zara at a place where, she won't be leaving fur balls everywhere, and she otherwise will have proper nail trims. Now, the flip side of that is I also have to get Luna, my cat, in at some point, and the only person I will trust with Luna is the vet. So I'm gonna have to take Luna to the vet at some point to have them do her Sani and her claws. But she's at least a little more manageable than a 75-pound Alaskan Malamute. So it is exciting times all around. And yeah, speaking about Vampire, I'm just looking over here to see if there's anything we want to grab before heading back. Speaking about Vampire, I'm not 100% sure if Bean and Techno are having a good time. Like, they are saying they're having a good time, and they're all like, oh yeah, it's a good time, I'm having a blast, etc., etc. But, the enthusiasm is not what it usually is, and I can feel that already. Where I think they are just being nice and letting me run Vampire, but I think Vampire is going to end sooner rather than later, if I had to put my point on it. But what that means is we will be transitioning to Daggerheart pretty quickly. And we'll have Arwen join us for Daggerheart on Sundays. Now, see, that's the thing, Caspian. It depends on the size of the dog and the size of the cat. Because, Maine Coon, big old kitty. Big old kitty. And Malamute, medium to large size dog. She's 75 pounds. And, she's a handful if you let her. And, I was initially a little worried, getting both a dog and a cat. But they get along pretty well. And, they have their own separate areas when they're done with each other. And that's all I can really ask, is they don't get into giant fur fights where they're tearing out fur or chunks of flesh. So that's already a win in my book. I think that's your imposter syndrome talking. Techno and Bean seem the type to speak their minds. You're not wrong. I think that's another ruined portal. I think that's the second ruined portal we've seen. But it could be my imposter syndrome talking. I'll fully admit that. It's just, when you game master for a certain amount of time with a certain amount of people, like, I know Techno and Beam rather well, or at least I like to think I do. It is something where, I start to worry about some of the things they do and some of the things that they're communicating. Because Bean and Techno, their favorite thing to do is, find an NPC, harass the NPC, and then wax poetic about something, completely bonkers kind of a thing. Because that's what they do. And I love that about them. Ooh, hold on. I think I gotta turn that down just a smidge. One moment. There we go. Let me know if that's still too loud. And ooh, is there no chest on this one? Well, it's a more together portal, but no chest on this one. Oh no, there is a chest. I was just blind. Bunch of flint, golden shovels. Very nice. Very, very nice. And yeah, from an audience perspective and from a GM perspective, I think Arwen will riff off of Techno and Bean extremely well. I do believe that they will be just as riotous as when Matthew was with us. And I should say that this is not Arwen completely replacing Matthew. Matthew is always welcome back in the table, whenever he is finished with his real life stuff. I'll let Matthew explain it if he so wish, but the short version is Matthew is a college professor, and he basically had to do summer school this summer. So that's why he's unable to join us for the time being. But again, the hope is that once he is over that, and hopefully the new school year is not particularly straining, but he is always welcome back at the table. And that means that, you know, if Arwen's still with us, then that we'll have four people at... Ooh, go away, creepers. Nope, go away. We'll have 4 people at the table to mess with me and mess with NPCs. Which, you know, fun time all around. Everybody likes to see ELH figure out, wait, which... Okay, there's the tower. You know, which voice was I using for this NPC? And, oh no, what do I do? Because they're talking about, you know... Ooh, spider, hold up. We gotta kill this spider. Alright, 1 spider down. You gonna give me string? Maybe string? Alright, we got string. Alright, well, we need more string than that, but I think we can make it out of wool? Maybe? You thought he got a raise by making the Powerpuff Girls? I mean, I wouldn't put it past Matthew. That is within the realm of possibility for the one and only Matthew. Yeah, and I was gonna say, Arwen, I think you'll fit in quite well, and I'm really looking forward to it. And maybe that's also contributing to my thoughts around, you know, what's going on with Vampire. It may simply be that that's me being over-eager to get Arwen at the table, and that's why I'm having these, I'm not 100% sure kind of feelings. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to plant some sugarcane here so it grows. And that should get us a bunch of sugarcane. Let's tear this down so it's got room to grow. Oh, I got to make another shovel. Right there. Now it should be able to grow just fine. All right, cool. So now we have sugarcane growing. Matthew played a great Costello to Bean's Abbott. I'm trying to remember. Yes, that is correct, because Costello was the straight man. Yep. So it's going to be interesting when we get all 4 people at the table, what that's going to look like. Because I have a feeling what's going to end up happening is... Ooh, pumpkin seeds. What's going to end up happening is... how do I say this in a diplomatic way? Maybe it doesn't need to be diplomatic. God save whatever NPC has to do with the combined might of Techno Beam, Matthew, and Arwen. God save that poor NPC. Oh, Lord. Can you just imagine just, you know, you're minding your own business. You know, sure, there's magic in the world, and, you know, you're used to seeing strange individuals coming through your place and doing strange things, but, you know, a goblin, you know, and 3 other people walk in and just completely upend the place. And you're sitting there staring at them like, what do I do about you? What is this? Kind of a thing. And it's just... I'm eager to play Daggerheart. I still haven't decided which Daggerheart, you know, like, universe I'm going to be doing, because for those who don't know, Daggerheart is very much it's a system over a setting, which I guess is similar to D&D, where it's technically a system rather than a pure setting. But Daggerheart comes with a few pre-generated campaign settings for you to do. And I'm kind of leaning towards Age of Umbra, just because I want a little bit of a darker theme, as it were. But I also wonder if, you know, Age of Umbra will gel well with Arwen and the rest. So it's a conversation I'm going to have with them about everything. What'd you miss? No. So first things first, FedEx has been getting on my nerves recently. FedEx has damaged package of mine. They have lost packages of mine. And I think moving forward, I'm going to be only going with UPS because I'm tired of FedEx being FedEx, to put a finer point on it. But, ooh, double trees. Nice. Yeah, we'll tear these down. But you didn't miss much. I actually got a phone call myself that I had to take from the groomers, and I was just yapping about the groomers. Which I'm just really excited because I want this to be a good first experience for Zara, and I want her to be comfortable. And that's kind of paramount at the end of the day, that your dog has to be comfortable with grooming, because if they're not comfortable with grooming, whether you do it or a groomer does it, then it leads to poor overall health and just bad things overall. So the hope is that this grooming experience will go very positively. But we shall see. Alright, so we're going to chop down these trees, and I guess we can't do the skyblock thing of twerking to make a tree go faster, so we're kind of at the mercy of our spruce growing. But it is something where once we have enough spruce, we'll start building the outline of what I have planned here. And, you know, we'll sort of see what happens. And that's sort of the thing, Caspian, is that she is very food motivated. I mean, she wouldn't be as good of a, you know, in dog training as she is currently if she wasn't food motivated. But the problem is, it's, how do I say this? There's only so much food we'll do to tame the beast, is how I'll put it. Did I get all the wood? Oh, no, there's still one wood. Okay. Let me get that real quick. That whole wood was holding up by one thing. Alright, so that'll stop evaporating. And then was there wood over here? Yes, there was a wood here. Alright, so everything will start evaporating now. But it is something where one of the things that a lot of people don't realize about dog training is you actually need multiple kinds of treats. Like, you might think, oh, you know, I have this really good treat, you know, that they really, really like and they'll do anything for. Well, one of the things I've learned is that you kind of have to start off with, like, the least motivating thing when you're training them. And what I mean by that is you quite literally give them, like, a milk bone, or, you know, something that gets their interest but isn't high value. And as class goes on, as you train them more and more, you essentially begin to raise the treat and fading out the lure. And what I mean by lure is that, you know, a food lure is something, a treat lure, or a clicker lure is something. There's a bunch of different ways to, you know, lure a dog, to put a finer point on it. And it is a matter of keeping your dog's attention as everything is going on. All right, let's see. So if we're putting that there, we need a dirt block here. So we want to go one here. Then dirt, dirt, dirt. One there. And then let me see. So dirt here as well. Or block here as well. We'll put that there. Yeah, so you just sort of ramp up the treat, kind of a thing. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's FedEx is very much a finicky place where I've been on the phone with them and be like, hey, your guy's driven past my place like 4 times, and instead of delivering my package, he just kept going. And they'd be like, oh, okay, we'll call the driver and we'll get him to deliver it. Don't worry. But I have literally had like a promised delivery time of, 11 in the morning, and I didn't get it until 7, 8 p.m. that night because the FedEx driver didn't know what the heck he was doing. So it's just, don't use FedEx. Use UPS. Like, I know there goes my FedEx sponsorship. But yeah, use UPS. Just you'll save a lot of heartache. They take better care of your packages, at least around me anyway. Because FedEx is, if you're not at the door, they just kind of slap it on down, don't even ring the doorbell, and go about their merry business. And it's so frustrating when, you're sitting there waiting on a package for so long, and then, oops, sorry, we missed you, quote unquote. And it's like, no, you didn't. You didn't even ring the doorbell. So, all right, let's grab some dirt. And we'll start outlining our little abode. I think we're going to have to put a torch on the outside of this. So, torch there. Torch there. We'll do the same over here. But we will see. The original promise time was 11:30 and they were at 8:45 and required a signature. Yeah, that sounds like FedEx, all right. That sounds like FedEx. Does not surprise me in the slightest. Well, I mean, at least it's better that you were able to catch them. Because I've definitely been on the runaround with them, like, hey, come deliver this with a signature, and okay, I'll be here at this time, okay, and then they show up 3 hours earlier, and you're like, well, that doesn't work for me, and you came when I was in the bathroom or something, and then you got to wait a whole nother day, and it's just a whole thing. You get that with Amazon. So I haven't ordered anything from Amazon in a very hot minute. Like, I think the last thing I ordered on Amazon might have been my cat's replacement cat tree. Just because I was too lazy to go to PetSmart and, window shop kind of a thing. But, I've never had a problem with Amazon's delivery. But that's also because I have a distribution center literally up the road from me. So my Amazon packages usually get here very quickly. They always are prompt about their service, kind of a thing. And I mean, overall, it's just it's a thing. It's a thing. All right, hold on. Can I put a slab here without? I guess we'll find out. So what I want to do is put like a floor slab. And does this still let me? It does let me still open the chest. Excellent. Excellent. All right, so we'll call this, get rid of this and put down that. So we've got ping stairs because we do. Yeah, Twitch notifying you of streams is kind of a crapshoot sometimes. But glad that you are here, Plague Doctor. Welcome on in. Alright. That there, that there. And then, let me see. So that's going to be our second area, so we want some kind of a balcony here. Let's make a fence. I can remember how to make a fence. Hey, there we go, cherry fence. And yes, if you haven't already figured out, this is going to be a very pink build. I feel like pink is a very nice color, Nothing wrong with that. Looks like we need 1, 2, yeah, we need 3 more. All right. And yeah, it is something where the bell has been clicked for days. Yeah, it could just be Twitch being Twitch. You know, Twitch is going to do Twitch things, as the expression goes. All right, so we have our main floor outline. And then let's expand this up a bit. Just a bit. That way we have our posts to work on. And, yeah, such as it is. Oh, so the other thing I was going to say about my adventure while I was out getting my glasses today is, does anybody have a favorite mall vendor or mall food place that they go to? Because I am a sucker for Auntie Anne's. And if you don't know what Auntie Anne's is, it is essentially a pretzel place where they literally do pretzels, pretzel bites, things of that nature. And anytime I'm over at the mall, which is where this glasses place was, I make it a specific point to go to Auntie Anne's and get at least one pretzel. Sometimes I get 2 or 3 because I'm a glutton and I love pretzels. But, you know, it is something that, you know, I'm just curious, you know, do people prefer Sbarro, or maybe there's a different food vendor you prefer at the mall? Ooh, teriyaki chicken sounds good. I have a few places like that around me. Last time you went to a mall, the stores were 90% empty. Yeah, really just depends on the mall in your area. Because some malls are still very active, like the one around me. Other malls are just ghost towns, and soon to not be, as it were. So I get it. I get it. All right, so we've got stuff going down there. Let's start smelting glass. I think I put it up here. Let's start smelting some glass and getting that going. All right. Yes, I did put it up here. Excellent. So we'll take a half stack for now. And I don't have regular wood. Let me think. I think we're going to have to go bust down a few trees here in a moment. Yep, we're going to have to go bust down some trees. All right, not a big deal. Tree knocking we go. The main mall here was turned into a community college. I've seen some closed malls turn into apartments. Yeah, like, it's a good thing if you're in an area where they're repurposing the malls into something. But, I don't know, I don't know what it is, but something about an empty mall and the vacant giant parking lot around said mall, it is, I don't know, it's just really creepy for me. Like, I know, you know, inherently that it's just, oh, hey, liminal spaces and all that nonsense. But it's creepy because, you know, I've always lived in the suburbs where that sort of thing just doesn't happen, where you always have, you know, a good amount of people at the mall unless it's like dead of night, like 2 in the morning kind of a thing. But even then, it's just maybe what's the word I want to use? Ennui? Ennui? Ennui, I think is how you say it. Ennui? Something like that. But it's the disconnect between what you expect and what you're seeing, kind of a thing. All right, we're gonna take out this dirt block and make this a solid pink staircase. Cool. All right, give me 1 sec. Got another lovely jet overhead. Oh, nope, he's coming for a second pass. Hold on. Do you want to go around a third time? You know, maybe loop back? You know, just zoom over my house again? Maybe just again? Maybe? No, you're good? Okay, he's good. No, the problem is that, again, I live in a naval town, and if you live here, you just accept the jet noise. But if you don't expect the jet noise, it catches you off guard. And it just... Sometimes it's tolerable, sometimes it's not. And I do hope that the recordings aren't too bad with the jet noise, and I do apologize if they are. I am doing what I can to make it so that you do not hear the Indy 5000 flying overhead. Alright, so we've got these birch planks, and what we're going to do is we are going to... Let me see, because I kind of want windows here. I want this layer to be all windows. So we'll make this floor pink. We'll make this floor... We'll make it birch plank. We'll make it a kind of a white. So if that's the post there, then... Again, we're waiting on this spruce guy to grow here. Let's see, so we'll start the wall here. And we'll just sort of outline what's already here. And then we'll make this a log post. And then we'll just go over here. You can barely hear it, that's good. Because even though you're barely hearing it, you know, I'm one of those people that I'm anal about sound quality. So even just barely hearing it bothers me sometimes. But at the same time, I realize that it's a jet. It's going to make noise. So, you know, it is what it is. The great coping mechanism, it is what it is. All right, here we go. Pass number 3. Go, go, go. You can do it, Jet. I believe in you. Oh, he was actually nice. He didn't hit his afterburners this time. You want to go for pass number 4, buddy? You want to go for pass number 4? Maybe? Pass number 4? Can we get pass number 4? No, I don't think we're getting pass number 4. Okay. I mean, it is what it is basically the fuck it method, where you're just like, well, can't do anything about it. Fuck it. So, it's not any louder than an air conditioner. I mean, that's good. Alright, come on, Spruce. You need to grow. Come on, buddy. Come on, here, let me move you. Let's move you somewhere a little bit bigger. Here. Grow big. And you. Come over here. Let's move you... over yonder. We might have to just go get more spruce at the rate it's growing. Might be what we have to do. But let's see, so this is going to be kind of a second floor. But I want it to be with the birch steps here. So I just gotta figure out how I want to do this. So maybe steps here? Next to the main staircase? Well, we're waiting on more birch to grow. Are you birch? Nope. You're well, I need to knock down these trees anyway. For the sand. But yeah, returning to the, you miss your nerds and you want to see them again. Yeah, we'll get to play eventually. You know, Whiskey jinxed it by saying, oh yes, we're all available. Today we're going to be playing. Yay! And then, also, hello, pass number 5. Can we give it up for pass number 5? On the one hand, I get why they do so many passes, and I get why, you know, they have to keep going around. It's because they're practicing landings. And it's a good thing for them to practice landings. But at the same time, it's just like, really? Really? And yeah, unfortunately, MINEflayer will not be running tonight because Whiskey is out. And you kind of want your chief engineer for a ship like the MINEflayer. So next week, well, she said next week she should be okay. If that's changed, I'll have to interface with her and see what's going on. But do you mean like out for Saturdays for a while, Whiskey or Dracus, or is she for work out for a while? Because if so, we might have to reevaluate. Let's see. All right, any other Birch? Yeah, I was gonna say I think she's back this weekend. Oh, here we go. Spruce Crew. Thank you, Mr. Spruce. Bruce Springsteen. Thank you. Alright. My Sunday group is the opposite. A few of them could be in the ICU and they'd still find a way to show up. I mean, in college, that was kind of what happened because we were college kids and, you know, we were dying for the release. Is that even the right word to use? We were all dying for the, you know, oh, thank God it's Tuesday, or oh, thank God it's Thursday. You know, we can finally play D&D. And, you know, in adult life, such as it is, you know, there's only so much you can really do about scheduling. Because adult scheduling is very different. Because in college, you all know each other's schedules. You all know, you know, the approximate times everybody's available. And, you know, if you live in the dorms or something, you can literally go knock on the door and say, hey, we're playing D&D. Get over here. But, you know, it is something where, you know, Whiskey's very good about scheduling, except when she turns off her phone and sleeps, or is playing the horse game. Which, to be fair, horse game is addicting. I mean, I could play horse game on stream if you all cared about horse game. I just didn't think that my audience was interested in horse game. But if you all want to see me play horse game, I'd be happy to do so. Wow, one player's in China and the other GM moved to England. I have had a game like that where I had somebody in North Korea, or not North Korea. That would be amazing. Someone in North Korea? Wow, how'd they get around the Great Firewall? I have somebody in South Korea and somebody in Alaska and then somebody in Brussels and then me in the United States. And let me tell you, the amount of scheduling weirdness we had, where I was having to wake up at like 2 in the morning in order to, you know, GM for these people. And I didn't mind it because they were amazing players. And yeah, it's the one person with internet in North Korea. But they were amazing players and overall very good people to play with. And I would do it again. Like if you ask me, hey, you wanna wake up at 2 a.m. again and, you know, play with those people, I'd do it. I'd do it in a heartbeat. All right, we need more spruce, so let's plant some spruce. And nope, let's put spruce there, and we'll throw a spruce there. All right. Yeah, that's another thing I miss from my college days. Is again, you know, if you're in college, 9 times out of 10. You have the ability to just stay up all night, or you have the ability to, you know, just continually game and otherwise have a good time kind of a thing. And hold on, where am I going to put the door? Ooh, there's a question. Because this is like the landing. This is like the mud room. So I guess the door can go there. It's a 5 space, but I want a double door. We'll put the double door here. And then I'm going to have to make a pink door. So let me make the pink door. All right, cherry door. We want it on the outside. Okay. Starting to take shape. Did have a group that was spread throughout the US, Europe, and a single guy in the Philippines. It's always the guy in the Philippines that's having the most time, the best time. For those who don't know, Food Cube, one of my players in Wolf Raye, one of my players in another game, great artist, in fact, a published and official Star Trek Lower Decks artist in some degree. I think she worked on a number of cards for the card game, if I'm remembering correctly. Food, if I'm saying something stupid about you, please tell me I'm an idiot and correct me. But, you know, Cube is Cube and is amazing. And is always doodling during our sessions because she's the type of player that her way of taking notes is basically sketching the scenes she's going through, that her character's going through. And she always has the most amazing sketches in the least amount of time. And I said this yesterday in... ask Cube next time. Yeah, Caspian, ask Cube next time. She has worked on official Star Trek licensing before. So that's why she's so prominent. But no, it's just... As I said in Event Horizon yesterday, one of the best things you can do for your game master's mental health... Was that a creeper? No, it's a sunflower. Okay, I was worried there for a moment. One of the best things you can do for your GM's mental health is take notes or draw something or, you know, just do something that shows you are engaged, listening to the game, and you appreciate the effort that's being put in. Because someone who takes notes and somebody who draws art, like, I know Plague is like, yeah, you know, that's like the dream, you know, free art kind of a thing. But it's something where I'm just happy if the players, you know, show that level of engagement kind of a thing, where that just makes me happy that my work is appreciated and not going unnoticed kind of a thing. And as Dracus is making the joke about, you know, the note takers being the DM's bane, I have been saved by player notes more often than not, even with recorded sessions where I can literally go back and just listen to, you know, a recording. There's some things that the players take note of that I missed completely in both my notes and in the recordings. So it is something where I wish more people took notes at the end of the day. Because it's such a nice thing to do. All right, so there we go. We have our first post done. Let me see, is this post exposed? Nope, it's got dirt in it, so that's good. I had one who ended up calling out an entire illusion 5 minutes into a session. I mean, that's the gamble you take with an illusion, no matter what you're doing. You're basically banking either on the players to not metagame it, or you're basically banking on the fact that your illusion is so convincing that the players don't catch on. So that's why I usually don't use a bunch of illusions in my games. But at the same time, I do recognize their usefulness. Because to me, at least in my jamming philosophy, an illusion kind of feels like a, oh, gotcha moment. And while oops, gotcha moments are compelling sometimes, I feel like they're also grating as a player, depending on how the illusion is presented. Because I've definitely been in games where, you know, I'm like, okay, hey, you know, I think this is an illusion, but I'm going to go along with it for the sake of the GM. And it was more so how the big bag evil guy worked. He liked to mess with the minds of people. Like, yeah, like, if you show that in a long-term, you know, way for the players to recognize that this was, you know, something that they can catch on to naturally in character, great. You know, but don't do a Caspian just said and go, oh, guys, it was all a dream. Even though, I will admit, I have been guilty of going, and it was all a holodeck episode before. But I mean, that's the whole point of a holodeck episode, is that you're either trapped in the holodeck or you have amnesia and don't know it's a holodeck. That's the whole point of the holodeck. But it's all about presentation. You know, you can do bad things to your players. Like let's use Vampire for an example. The very last session we did on Sunday. You know, Bean very innocuously said, "Oh, I'd like to lick the werewolf blood off the knife." And anybody who's played werewolf or anybody who's played vampire before knows how bad of an idea that is. That you should not just lick the werewolf blood off of a knife. That leads to very bad things. So I had to do a, oh, gotcha moment and say, well, Bean, I need you to roll me your untapped willpower. And thankfully, Bean passed, so I didn't have to punish him. But it's really dependent on the system. It's really dependent on the GM, and it's really dependent on your players. You know, how much you can get away with without it being a, oh, you know, you're screwed kind of a situation. This guy kept changing minor details of things that people would double take and go, no, that seems normal. Ah, so the Matrix effect. The lore's change on licking werewolf blood? Maybe compared to like old editions, Steve, but in 5th edition, they still have, ooh, Spruce Screw. They still have the issue, no, they still have that, Steve, where if you drink enough werewolf blood to start slaking hunger, you are more susceptible to frenzy, and you are more susceptible to losing control of your character to anger, kind of a thing. So that is still very much a thing. The old, this knife is coated in deadly poison, then licks knife to see just how much. Yeah, I think Bean wouldn't do that, but, you know. Because I also felt bad doing it, because Bean was doing it in a way to just have a cool character moment and, you know, have fun. But, you know, Bean and Techno are newbies to the world of darkness. And I'm trying my best to showcase, you know, what the setting can offer. But at the same time, I'm also trying to provide a compelling narrative. And sometimes those two things are at odds with one another. You might go, well, ELH, what do you mean by that? What I mean by that is, how to say this? Basically, oh, you know, we'll put a second door here. Yeah, we'll put a second door here. I need to make another door. Hold on. More doors. And we'll put the door right here. Wherever the other door is. Excellent. Okay. We are starting to have the outline of something. And yeah, you know, I guess you could say that I did maybe provide a few hints that like, werewolf blood, pretty good. Your beast is like, this could be a good or bad thing. But at the same time, I did still feel like, ooh, maybe I did a gotcha. Maybe I did a gotcha moment. So. All right, we're finally starting to take shape. I'm loving what we've got so far. Cool, cool. All right, well, I think this is where we're going to call this session. I'll have to edit out a little bit of the middle where I got called by the groomers. But YouTube, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed me yapping for about an hour and a half. And let me just know in the comments what you'd like to see in terms of this build. I'm always open to new ideas and things to add. But YouTube, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you later. Bye-bye, YouTube.